Okay, great. We are live. So, yes, hi everyone. Long time no see, especially from my side, I would say. So, yeah, I am excited to be here with our amazing panel today. And we are going to talk about a topic which I think is not talked about often, you know. And when you're living with diabetes, which requires so much attention every minute of your life, and you do not realize how it changes you, your physical body, your mental health, your emotional connections. It has this subtle effect on everything. And even though now we know like what works in managing diabetes, we know that diet, medication, exercise, we know all of that. But then there are certain smaller things, our changes and emotions that affect us. And I think a major part of it comes from how we perceive ourselves, हम अपनी तरफ कैसे देखते हैं खुद को, in terms of your maybe body weight issues, or the way you look, the way you feel, and that definitely impacts your emotional well-being as well. So yes, it was a long intro, but anyway, we are here today to discuss on diabetes and body shaming, and we have our amazing panel here, Aishwarya, which I'm sure everyone knows. She has done a lot of workshops with us. She's a TV celebrity, and obviously she lives with T1, but which was diagnosed at a later stage in life. And we have Deepak, who's a type 2, and me again, I was diagnosed at 11, so I was diagnosed quite when I was quite young. So we have like a good group of people to talk about what how living with diabetes changed their bodies, and have they faced anything related to body shaming. And I would say then quickly we'll just get started. But yes, welcome to one and everyone to yet another Blue Circle workshop. And feel free to leave in your comments or your experiences in the chat, and we will read them through. So I think we should start with our first question. First is like a very basic question. Has living with diabetes changed your body? So Aishwarya, would you like to take the lead on that?
Definitely. And I must say it was a good introduction. I could have gone on to hear more of it. So it wasn't a very long one, but it was a good one. And thank you for having me here. Definitely, diabetes did change my body. And earlier, uh, I would have to work very hard to lose weight and look a certain way because of the profession that I'm in. And I say hard because I was not very mindful of what I was eating, how I was living. In my head, I was still being quite um, mindful of it, but now when I look back in retrospect, I wasn't. Um, and When diabetes happened, I had lost a lot of weight when it was going undiagnosed, and I was very happy about it. I'd reached a 55 mark, and I was like, wow, I'm losing weight. I must be doing something right. Whereas I wasn't doing anything right. It was the diabetes that was actually killing my fat from within, and
Yeah.
um, then when the diagnosis happened and I had to change my lifestyle completely, and from HbA1c 13.7, I was constantly losing weight because it was like an overnight shift that I had to do with my work schedule, my food habits, my exercise. So from a 55, I went down to a 49 kilos. And that's when I got really conscious of the way I was looking because I wasn't looking very good. So, yes, diabetes did change my life. It changed the way I perceived myself. But it took me a while to understand that it is actually a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I know that you are so open and positive about talking about how you live with diabetes. But we'll get to that. But Deepak,
Sure.
what was your experience when you were diagnosed?
Yeah, sure. So, my mother was diabetic, so I was like looking up to myself. Like I was getting regular health checkups. So before getting diabetes, 2 months before only, I had a full body checkup, and all reports were good. so like means all reports, all whatever reports would be for a healthy person, it was there. So I was not much concerned. I was living a good, like the regular lifestyle sleeping late night due to work, having
Mm-hmm.
anything for food. But after like that full body checkup in after 3 months, my weight. I was living alone in Mumbai, so I was not aware that my physical appearance is changing. So
Mm-hmm.
in office, all where I started saying that what diet you are following, like you have lost a lot of weight. So I was telling I am not aware. Like I was feeling something like I was feeling difficulty in opening doors or lifting things due to weakness, but I was not aware that I had diabetic. So
Mm-hmm.
in puja vacation, I came to home. My family told that he is looking very weak, and we went to a like physician, and he suggested to test for diabetes, and yeah, it was like HB1C more than 15. So
Oh,
from like that causes like my weight loss, and yeah, like from there I managed myself, so I am in good shape now. But that time my hair became thin, like, and I also
mm-hmm.
become thin, so it
Yeah.
caused that effect. And yeah, like after being diagnosed, like my relatives, some of my relatives not knows it, so like unknowingly they comment that like after getting a job you should be happy, you should be fat, but you are looking thin, and
Mm-hmm.
this sort of
Mm-hmm.
things. And like for
Yeah.
diabetic people, gaining muscles is a difficult task. We know,
Yeah.
so that is
Right.
also challenge between my friends. Like
Yeah.
they go to gym, and by regular exercise they have a good shape. But even if I try, I achieve it, but then again like I lose the weight. So yeah,
Mm.
this sort of changes comes due to diabetes.
या इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ हार्ड वर्क आई वुड एग्री बट एक और चीज है जिसपे मुझे सबका ध्यान ले जाना है इज लाइक every one of us when we were diagnosed we lost a lot of weight, you know, and
Yeah.
no one around us thought that it could be a sign for something wrong in the body, you know. Everyone looked at it कि अरे अच्छी बात है कि वेट लॉस
Yes.
हो रहा है, यू नो। और हमारे सोसाइटी में जनरली जब वेट लॉस होता है इट्स परसीव्ड एज अ गुड थिंग बट नॉट ऑलवेज, यू नो, लाइक इट कैन बी ऑल्सो अकम्पनीड लाइक जैसे दीपक ने कहा उनको वीकनेस हो रहा था, ही कुडंट डू द नॉर्मल थिंग्स दैट ही यूज्ड टू डू, बट समहाउ वी जस्ट फील कि अरे वेट लूज हो रहा है, इट्स सो गुड, यू नो, बिना कुछ किए वेट लूज हो रहा है। सो आई थिंक दैट परसेप्शन नीड्स टू चेंज अ लिटिल बिट दैट not every weight loss is a good thing or it's not like a happy moment. There could be something wrong that could that
But
we
I
are
want to
born
add something
with.
here, Snehal. I think जैसे दीपक ने अभी बोला कि जब वो अपने घर गए वापस पूजा वेकेशन के लिए, एंड हमारे घरों में होता है कि द मिनट यू लूज वेट तो पहले बोलते हैं वीक हो गया, यू नो,
Right. Mm.
and because they thought कि वो weak हो गया है, that you know he had to undergo all the medical checkups and then finally the diagnosis happened. So I'm only glad that हमारे घरों में हमारे जो माँ बाप हैं जहाँ थोड़ा weight loss होता है they think कि something is wrong.
Yes.
So which is in a way a good thing. Like from for example, my father thought that I had an eating disorder when I had to completely change my lifestyle. I had to change the way I was eating, what I was eating. So for him, it became an eating disorder, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So it's a I'm glad that our families still consider weight directly proportional to prosperity and happiness. uh, but yes, on the professional front लोगों को लगता है कि ओ पतले हो गए हो तो it's a good thing. So
Right.
that kind of awareness does need to keep come in.
Right. And I think my experience was like when I was always a plump kid, you know, like growing up. So when I lost a lot of it, they were like, oh, she's growing up. So yeah, hormonal hai, you know, it's a good thing. And then a lot of relatives and friends were like, oh, like it's so nice कि बिना कुछ किए weight loss हो रहा है, you know. But then, like you said, Ashwar, like my parents were scared, you know, like your closer family is scared, like something may be wrong. But there are a lot
Yeah,
of like the peer pressure and the societal pressure. They're like, अरे अच्छी बात है, and then you sometimes just let it go, you know, कि ठीक है, अरे कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, क्या ही हम चेक करें, ऐसे भी हम सोचते हैं। बट इट्स ऑलवेज इम्पोर्टेंट कि इफ यू फील there's any slight discomfort in your body, it's always better to get yourself tested or like checked up.
absolutely.
Yes. So I will move on to our next question is like what according to you is body shaming, or like how what emotions or like what do you think when you hear of the term body shaming?
Um, See, I again, because of the profession that I'm in, I even if I don't want to hear it, I have to hear it. कि पतली हो गई है, मोटी हो गई है, and लोग कभी भी खुश नहीं होते. मोटी हो गई है तो बहुत मोटी हो गई है, पतली हो गई तो बहुत ही पतली लग रही हो. So that body shaming has always been a part of my life. But I think on a more individual level, this is something that I've become mindful of, that it should not be a conversation starter. You know, when you
Right.
go into a get together, the first thing that people say, oh, just to break the ice, or have a conversation, oh, you've lost weight, oh, you've put on weight. And that's a very personal thing. I don't think that we should get into that. Instead of asking how you are, or how you're feeling, or how's your life been going, people say, oh, you've lost weight, what are you doing, or you've put on weight, marriage is suiting you. These are just conversation starters. So I feel that weight should not be a conversation starter, for sure. And
Absolutely.
body shaming, uh, definitely it's a negative term, so we should not indulge in that. But when it comes to your close family, I think it's important that they make us aware of our body issues, if I may call it that. When I did reach that 49 kilos, because I turned vegan, I was only eating ghas phus. For me, it was like a major, major lifestyle change that I did overnight, because I thought that I'm going to beat this bloody type 1 diabetes. This is not going to stay in my body. I'll be the first one in our country, who will be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I had become this major, major fighter in my head. And at that point of time, my father, he thought that I'm going through an eating disorder, and he made me sit down. We had a chat, and he said there needs to be a balance. I understand that you're going through what you're going through, and only you'll be able to fight it. But you need to do it at a pace that is agreeing to your body.
Right.
And I think that conversation really made me see things differently.
Yes, absolutely. And I think once you realize that something in your body, like you're going through some condition, you immediately want to do all the things right. अभी मैं कल से ही सुबह 6 बजे उठ के I'll run, I'll gym, I'll eat right.
Mm.
But it becomes very difficult for your body to handle all of these changes suddenly. You have to be very gradual, धीरे धीरे करके, step by step. If you do it, only then you will see how it is benefiting your body. But otherwise, like you said, like एकदम से अगर आप सब कुछ एक ही दिन में overnight, if you plan to change, your body will may not be able to handle all of those changes. And instead of getting better, you may feel more weak or like lack of
Yeah,
energy. Yeah.
yeah.
So
सो
Deepak, what do
मेरे
you
केस
say?
में लाइक हाँ, मतलब बॉडी लाइक इस एज पे अभी तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, लेकिन जैसे लोग जब जब मैं कॉलेज डेज में था तो लोग किसी को मोटी बोल देते थे, किसी को मतलब ऐसे ही नाटी, ऐसे शॉर्ट हाइट किए तो उसको छोटकी ऐसे इस टाइप से वो एड्रेस करते थे. तो वो उस वक्त लाइक इट फील्स लाइक पीपल आर टेलिंग मी एंड लाइक people avoid going to that group. So that time it like it cast a negative impression on the mind. So like means it is a bad thing. So it happens like at a unknown means people don't do it knowingly, but they do it. So like they should be much considerate about like saying these things to
Mhm.
anyone.
Yeah. But Deepak, did you face, like when you lost a lot of weight, did you face any sort of negative comments from friends or people around you?
No, 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 not negative, but they mentioned that तुम पतले लग रहे हो, like पहले से कमजोर हो गए हो, इस टाइप से. तो मतलब दैट कमेंट इनिशिएटेड टू लुक इनटू आवरसेल्फ, लाइक फिर खुद से मिरर के पास जाके एनालाइज करना पड़ता था कि वो मैं सही में अच्छा नहीं लग रहा हूँ. फिर मतलब वो माइंडसेट हो जाता था कि मैं बाहर नहीं जाऊंगा, लाइक डॉक्टर से ही बोलो कि मेरा वेट लॉस हो रहा है, तो डॉक्टर मीन्स डॉक्टर्स दे जस्ट सी द रिपोर्ट्स एंड प्रिस्क्राइब मेडिकेशन, दे डू नॉट गाइड अस. सो उस समय मुझे पता नहीं चला कि मुझे क्या करना है, लाइक. तो वो 3-4 महीने में लाइक नेगेटिव एरिया में चला गया था, लाइक घर से बाहर नहीं निकलना. अब मुझे डायबिटीज़ हो गया है, तो लाइक
Mm-hmm.
मतलब बॉडी मेरी ऐसी हो गई है, पतली हो गई है. तो मतलब मैं सोचा था मैं तो केयर कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन फिर भी अच्छा क्यों नहीं दिख रहा है, इस टाइप. ये थिंकिंग था. वो धीरे धीरे अभी रिकवर हो गया है. मतलब ये मेडिकल जो हमारा जो डॉक्टर का ट्रीटमेंट स्टाइल है वो भी चेंज करना पड़ेगा, लाइक वो
Absolutely.
मेडिसिन प्रिस्क्राइब करते हैं एंड मतलब आई वी पे फी ऑफ 1000 to 1500 to them, and we try to explain what is happening to me, so they do not listen. They only prescribe the medicine and say that come to next visit after 3 months, like that. So that sort of thing happened to me.
Yeah, I think kindness is so underrated, right? It's so important to remember everyone, like not just people living with diabetes, everyone. Just be kind to one another. Like Aishwarya also said, like you don't need to start a conversation about weight
Yeah,
because you never know what the other person is going through, you know. And it's not that they won't know. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि उनको नहीं पता कि उनका वेट लॉस हुआ है या वेट गेन हुआ है. बट हर बार हम जाके उसी चीज पे कमेंट करेंगे, दे इट मे ट्रिगर समथिंग इन देम, राइट? So kindness
Correct.
is I think it's very important. And like you said, Deepak, with the doctors, I think empathy is something that is sometimes lacking, you know. Like it's wonderful अगर आपको ऐसा कोई डॉक्टर मिले जो आपके इमोशनल नीड्स को भी सपोर्ट कर रहा है along with your physical things, physical needs. But it's very difficult because we also understand कि डॉक्टर्स के पास इतना टाइम नहीं है. दे आर लाइक जस्ट झटपट मेडिसिन दे देते
yeah,
हैं and then just they expect you to do all of the emotional balance work, you know. But I think kindness and empathy, and like I always say is like we need empathy, we don't need sympathy, you know. Like we are living with diabetes, we manage it well, and we understand that it's difficult. So we sometimes we just want someone to listen to us. We don't want them to sympathize with us.
But Snehal, I think it's also about leading with example. And
Yeah.
I think Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation is doing exactly that. You know, once you make people aware, only then they would know. जब पता ही नहीं है, so then it's not wrong in their eyes, right?
Yes.
So awareness is the number one step, and then empathy will definitely follow.
Absolutely. And
and
Aishwarya,
I
did you
from
face any body shaming issues around your diagnosis or like?
All the time. I mean, even now, because of the change in lifestyle, I know it for a fact that weight around my abdomen is dangerous, you know, and I work out and I eat accordingly. And I'm extremely active on social media. So I get these comments all the time कि skeleton लग रही हो, कुछ खाया पिया करो, रोहित पूरा खाना खा जाता है क्या? They think they are being very funny,
Yeah.
but they don't realize that weight is a big no for me. you know I cannot have extra weight on my body, especially on my abdomen. So when they say, oh ये तो आपने abs जो बनाए हैं वो तो artificial लग रहे हैं, color correct किया है. And I think because I've been facing this for such a long time, even when I didn't have diabetes, um, you know, I'm used to it. I'm okay with it. I just like don't pay heed to it. But the fact that I remember those comments and I'm having a conversation with you, it means somewhere I do get affected. Somewhere in the subconscious wo hai. So there, when every time I'm putting up pictures on Instagram, I make sure कि मैं ज़्यादा पतली तो नहीं लग रही हूँ, मेरे आर्म ज़्यादा पतले तो नहीं लग रहे हैं. Because somewhere that external validation is also something that we all look forward to, right? तो
Yes.
जब ऐसे कमेंट्स आते हैं तो थोड़ा सा ठीक है. आई मीन दे डोंट रियली अफेक्ट मी लाइक दैट, बट हाँ कहीं ना कहीं लगता ही है कि क्यों, लाइक व्हाई, if I'm taking care of my health, if I have abs, if I have toned arms, and just because I'm tall and lean, you think I'm looking very patla, but how about asking me whether I'm feeling fit or not? That should be the first question. That should be the first comment, that are you okay health wise?
Right.
Instead of saying kitni patli hai. Some people have gone ahead and made such remarks like Auschwitz camp ki, you're looking like a prisoner from Auschwitz camp.
Mm-hmm.
And that really hits you, that why are people being so mean? Don't see my pictures. I've not asked you to follow me, you know. So yes, it does affect you sometimes.
And like you said, like sometimes people feel that they are being funny, you know, but
Yeah.
then then there needs to be a fine line between what is funny and what is crossing the boundaries, like.
But we don't live in that ideal world, na Snehal?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है कि you're just like maybe cheering the other person up, but like I think weight is something like a very touchy topic with every one of us,
And it's
even
not
if.
only weight, like Deepak said, कि college में किसी को नाटी बोल दिया, किसी को मोटी बोल दिया. I've always been body shamed for my height.
Mhm.
कि अरे तुम तो कितनी लंबी हो. अरे तो you know, and I've lost a lot of work because of my height. कि pairing का problem है, so that's also body shaming.
Right, right,
I'm an
absolutely.
actor. I'm supposed to look a certain way. I can act, and I'm bloody proud of it. तो मेरी हाइट का मेरे टैलेंट से क्या लेना देना है, बट यू गॉट टू लिव विद इट.
Absolutely. And on another note, like I've seen like Aishwarya been very open about talking all of these things. So can you share a few tips that you did so that you are like for your emotional well-being, like when all of these comments you realize that they are affecting you, so what did you do, like so that everyone else can also know, then they have their list of
You know,
tips.
when I started acting, there was this one person who gave me this advice that be very thick-skinned when you're entering this industry.
Hmm.
So that has helped me. I only pay heed to people who really matter. Like my father, my brother, my bhabhi, Rohit. These are the people who matter to me. And I know it for a fact कि जब वो मुझे कुछ बोल रहे हैं, where they are coming from, what their intent is.
Yeah.
People on Instagram and social media, of course, the fact that they give me love, those people matter to me. But people who are trolling me, it's good riddance if they unfollow me. I'll be more than happy to. But having said that, mental health did get affected very badly when I was first diagnosed with diabetes. For me, my entire family was in the wrong. मुझे लगा था उनकी वजह से हुआ है मुझे, उन्होंने मुझे स्ट्रेस दिया है, उन्होंने ये किया, they are not educated about diabetes. Why do they not understand there's a difference between type 1 and type 2? बस मेरी फैमिली सबसे बड़ी विलन थी. एंड आई रिमेंबर दैट 1 year was so difficult for me क्योंकि मैं सबसे कट गई. I didn't want to speak to anybody. Like Deepak said, मुझे घर से बाहर नहीं निकलना था. And I'd really made myself aloof. It took me a while to really understand that apart from having a pancreatic disorder, I'm also going through mental health issues.
Hmm.
And I had to open up to people. I had to seek help. I had to find a way to make myself feel better when I wake up in the morning. So I seeked help. I got uh, people who would counsel me. I would go to a therapist. I would do everything that would make me feel better about myself. And I have no qualms in saying that yes, I did seek help from mental health care workers.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think I agree. And it's a known fact, like I have also been open about that, that I have also taken therapy because I have been living with type 1 for 21 years now. And for the most time of it, I was okay with it, kabhi kuch aisa problem nahi hua. But then now, like since like 3 4 years ago, it suddenly hit me, like, like somewhere deep down, all these years, that emotional turbulence was just building up, and that's when I realized like it's important for me to like seek help from someone, from a third party, जो family या friends में से नहीं हो, and who has the right resources to guide you, not like a friendly advice, like someone who can understand and like go through like a proper course, like जैसे हम कुछ चोट लगती है तो हम कैसे डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं, it's that way. And personally, like I've never thought of it in a negative way, but I know a lot of people around me think that if you take a therapy or you're going to counseling, that means there's something wrong with your brain, like.
But Snehal, things are changing now. I am right now studying to become a therapist myself.
Hey,
I've
that's great.
been doing this course for the past 6 months and I'm studying to become a therapist myself. And surprisingly, when I speak to my family members who are over 70 years of age, I feel कि वो बोलेंगे ये क्या बकवास कर रही हो तुम. But they are the first ones to support me saying, yes, this is needed.
Hmm.
Counseling is needed. So I'm so glad that you're doing this course. So things are changing.
Absolutely. And Deepak, how have you dealt with your comments on weight and
Yeah,
like
so
feeling weak?
या लाइक जैसे आप लोगों ने बोला लाइक वी हैव टू बी मेंटली स्ट्रांग. सो लाइक स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट लाइक व्हेन आई वाज डायग्नोस्ड, so I was on insulin for evening and morning doses, and one medication was there. So initial thoughts was there कि injecting बंद हो जाए. तो I searched on groups. So there were like many misguiding information also. Like there was one Biswarup Chaudhary something. His channel was there. So he guided something like that. Don't eat anything for 3 days. Your diabetes will be in remission. I watched that sort of videos first. Then someone was selling coffee drinking this coffee for 2 months will heal your diabetes. So initially I went on those type of information. Then I also tried Ayurveda. So those doesn't help. After researching for 2 3 days, I got to know that these are negative things like negative influencers. And then I discovered this group our Facebook group, diversity support group. So I had one friend, Susil Sindhwani, from this group only.
Mm-hmm.
So he got diabetes because of that uh, COVID injection. Like, so he
Yeah.
helped me to understand my condition and helped me to he suggested me to join yoga classes and uh, take proper food. So with his I am in contact with him, and I like but whenever I have any negative thoughts or any problem, I discuss with him. And regarding body shaming, nothing. Like I made myself strong. I I made my mind that मैं जैसा भी हूँ मुझे फेस करना है. तो like that thinking shift like in myself, like I will have to take care of myself and show up to the people. So that means that only gave me a confidence. I went from 69 kg to 60 kg, means 8 kg of weight loss. So I was like looking with my look wise, I it was changed. And now by medication and like some meditation also, it has
Yeah.
helped me. Yeah.
Great. I think a few of the tips that I could take out from our discussion is like, first of all, you have to be a little thick skinned. कि हर चीज जो कोई भी चलता फिरता आदमी आपसे बोले, डोंट लेट इट अफेक्ट योर सेल्फ. सेकेंड इज ऑल्सो टू रियलाइज द इम्पोर्टेंस एंड द नीड फॉर टेकिंग केयर ऑफ योर इमोशनल हेल्थ. अगर आपको लगता है कि जस्ट फ्रेंड से बात करके या फैमिली से बात करके बात नहीं बन रही है, तो सीक professional help. Go for therapy, go for counseling, and there's no shame in that. And like Deepak said, is like if you have a good friend, if you have family members with whom you can talk to about all of these things, जिसके साथ आप ये सब सारी बातें share कर सकते हैं, then that's also always great, you know, because you have someone close to you. आप कभी भी message कर सकते हैं, कभी भी call कर सकते हैं. But in case if you do not have that sort of a support, feel free and don't feel shameful of taking medical support, like professional help. uh, don't feel shameful of like going to therapy or like counseling, and it can vary for each person, you know. Like किसी किसी को ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा, किसी किसी को 2 3 सेशंस में ही they'll start feeling better, you know. But definitely it's important to understand your needs. And like Deepak said, like you also have to be an informed like a patient, I would say, like an informed person. Ki there will be a lot of information and misinformation, uh, and we have seen this ourselves, you know, कि डायबिटीज को लेके डायबिटीज रिवर्सल, डायबिटीज क्योर, ऐसे काफी सारे चीजें हैं. एंड यू हैव टू बी लाइक अ इन्फॉर्म्ड पर्सन कि क्या सही है क्या गलत है, और ये सारी चीजें आपको थोड़ी सोच के करनी पड़ेंगी. एंड इट्स ऑल राइट अगर आपने ये मिस्टेक की भी है, बिकॉज इट्स ओके, यू नो, बिकॉज वी आर इन अ वल्नरेबल स्टेट. सबको चाहिए कि डायबिटीज से छुटकारा मिल जाए, बट इट्स नॉट दैट इजी, नो. And it's all right if you are doing yoga, if you're doing ayurveda, it's going to help you feel better, but it's not going to cure, especially type 1, it's not going to cure. And I wouldn't even say type 2 reversal, I would say type 2 remission, you know. अगर आप वो हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल फॉलो करोगे तो आपका टाइप 2 नहीं रहेगा, बट वापस से अगर आप उसी अनहेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल पे चले जाओगे तो वो वापस भी आ सकता है, यू नो. So and meditation and all of those stuff, I think it's important. And it's important to know for yourself, you know, कि आपको क्या सही लगता है, not necessary that you follow what I am saying or what the panel is saying. इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि आपको क्या सही लग रहा है.
Also, Snehal, I would want to add something that during my trying times as a newly diagnosed diabetic patient, the support groups that are formed around diabetes, they really helped me. Blue Circle being one of them. You
Yeah.
know, because क्या होता है ना कि आपके पास एक तो पैसों की खान नहीं है कि आप हर 2 दिन के बाद काउंसलिंग के लिए जा सकते हो, एंड काउंसलर्स एंड थेरेपिस्ट आर एक्सपेंसिव, डॉक्टर्स आर एक्सपेंसिव. So for the
Right.
smallest of things, you cannot run to a doctor or a counselor. So when you have support groups and when you go through the chats and then you see, oh, that person is also facing the same problem as I am, and then you see all the solutions that are given out in the groups, that really helps. Because एक तो जब आपका न्यू डायग्नोसिस होता है ना, you feel very alienated, you feel very isolated. And then when you see, oh, I'm not alone in this battle, these support groups really, really can be life transforming. So thank you again for forming this group and helping out people like me and Deepak.
Thank you so much. And I think at Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation, we take immense pride in our community. Like we are always open to listening to people, and it's and I think for me, uh, मुझे हर 6 महीने में डायबिटीज बर्नआउट होता है. आई एम लाइक वेरी ओपन अबाउट इट. इट्स
मुझे
ऑलवेज
भी
लाइक
होता है, मुझे भी होता है.
6 महीने के
It's
बाद
common.
इट्स दिस थॉट साइकिल दैट स्टार्ट्स. मुझे क्यों हुआ, अभी मुझे खाना है, आई वांट टू ईट आइसक्रीम बट आई कैन नॉट ईट. ये सारी चीजें कॉन्स्टेंटली कीप्स ऑन अफेक्टिंग यू. सो आई इमीडिएटली कम टू द फेसबुक ग्रुप. I just go through the comments and then listen to what others are saying. I write down my experiences sometimes, and immediately I feel better. Like there's this shift, emotional shift, and that is my routine. Like I have always talked about this. Like every time I face this diabetes burnout and I catch it, कि अभी ये थॉट प्रोसेस चालू हो चुका है. तो अभी हम क्या करें. So I immediately go to our group and just comment on people's questions, or like try to reach out to others and discuss all of these things with them. And it has personally helped me a lot. Like it's not just like we are the moderators in the group or something like that, but it's like a give and take sort of a relationship. We also learn and relearn a lot of things from the group. So I think yay to the community.
Like
Absolutely.
for type 2 diabetes, like whenever these sort of things happens, like tension and like more, so it is an indication of the numbers are increasing. So like that is also I have observed that when numbers got increased, I get irritated easily, like those sort of things. So yeah, like just I wanted to add that point.
Yeah. So we have some interesting comments in the group as well on how body weight has affected them and how people comment. Ashlesha says that she has put on some weight, and then people say it quite a few times on her face that you're looking huge. But then she read she just says it back that I know, I look at the mirror every day. That's a great way to like just shut people off. But yeah, so I think a lot of stories around diagnosis when people start losing a lot of weight, and it's good to know people talk about this openly. And this group is always here. Like even if you feel like you just want to rant out, you just want to vent something, or you just want to jot down your feelings, this group is and it's always open. No one is going to judge you. This is a safe space for you all. So please make use of this group. Like just put in your emotions, put in your thoughts. And when I say this, I know Rohan and Nupur also agree with me. Like when the three of us sit and chat together, it's more of like what we have gained from the community. कि ओ लाइक ये टाइम पे मुझे ऐसे लग रहा था रात को 3 बजे, फिर मैंने कुछ तो ग्रुप पे डाला, एंड देन समवन वाज ऑलवेज देयर टू रिस्पॉन्ड बैक. सो it's always.
Absolutely. There's always somebody there to help you out.
Yes. I think this 24/7 sort of a support is I think I am very proud of that.
You should be.
Yes. Okay, so another important thing is like I know that all of us here like have gone through our own turbulences around diabetes and diagnosis and body weight. So what are certain things that you would want to listen to, like if you are going through something, so what would you want your friends or family to tell, like to say to you, ताकि आपको थोड़ा better feel हो. Now we talked about like people commenting कि अरे तुम तो weight gain कर लिया, तुमने weight loss कर लिया. But what would help you, अगर मुझे किसी को बताना है, तो what would you want to listen from people?
I honestly don't want anybody telling me anything. I just want a compassionate ear.
Yeah.
Somebody who can listen to me talk. मुझे ज्ञान प्रचार की बातें मेरे दिमाग में ऑलरेडी है, मुझे पता है मुझे क्या करना है, बट आई वांट समबडी हु कैन हियर मी आउट, यू नो. तो ज्ञान की बातें करने के लिए बहुत लोग मिल जाएंगे, है मेरी लाइफ में, वो दे देंगे मुझे ज्ञान, मुझे भी पता है मुझे क्या करना है. But to
Right.
have an empathetic ear and to have somebody actively listening to you is what I would want.
Yeah, absolutely. Deepak, your comments.
Yeah, for me, like one of my mother's uncle, I call him Nana ji. So he said that डायबिटीज कुछ भी नहीं है, सबके शरीर में शुगर होता है. लाइक तुम्हारा थोड़ा बढ़ गया है, तुम एक्सरसाइज करो, ध्यान दो, मतलब चला जाएगा. मतलब जैसे जो ज्ञान अनुभवी लोग होते हैं वो बता पाते हैं कि ये मैनेजेबल है, लेकिन जिन्हें नहीं पता है वो ज़्यादा कंसर्न करते हैं. जैसे एक मेरा फ्रेंड था, वो बोला अब तुम्हें डायबिटीज़ हो गया, अब तुम नहीं केयर करोगे तो तुम्हें कैंसर हो जाएगा. मतलब डायबिटीज इज रिलेटेड टू अदर डिजीजेज लाइक दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग. सो
Yeah.
जो जिन्हें नहीं पता है वो अपना नॉलेज ना शेयर करे. एंड लाइक या पॉजिटिव कमेंट्स विल हेल्प अस. सो लाइक
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I think, like Aishwarya said, I agree 100%. Like, most of the times, we just want someone to listen to us, uh, कि कोई बस सुन ले कि this is the problem that we are listening, like we are facing, and most of the times we know ourselves what to do. But कभी कभार ऐसे हो जाता है कि हमें समझ नहीं आता वो point of time पे कि क्या करना चाहिए.
And I
So I think,
completely resonate with what Deepak just said कि कुछ लोग होते हैं जो अनुभवी होते हैं, you know.
right.
So it's better to go to those people who are speaking out of experience, who are speaking out of wisdom, instead of going to people like I have people who are extremely concerned about me. I understand their intent. Their intent is to take care of me, but I don't want people walking around on eggshells when I'm there. कि ओ ऐश्वर्या,
Yeah.
इसका खाना हम अलग रखेंगे, इसका ये जरूरत नहीं है. मैं if I feel कि I cannot eat the food that you're serving, मैं अपना डब्बा खुद लेके आऊंगी. You know,
Right.
so now even when I meet a few friends in a restaurant, they're like तू अपना खाना साथ लेके आई है. मैं कहती मैं पागल हूँ, रेस्टोरेंट में क्यों आऊंगी मैं अपना खाना लेके, रेस्टोरेंट में 10 ऑप्शंस हैं. You know, so I understand what they're saying, I understand where they're coming from, but
Right.
दो बार सोच लो before saying
Yeah.
things, you know.
yeah, yeah, like they have perception that diabetes people like their wounds don't heal. Like they have read
Yeah,
some.
कि बस हम कल ही मरने वाले हैं, ऐसा नहीं है.
They keep suggesting that take care of it, take care that you do not catch any, like you do not have any cuts, any wounds, like it will not heal. That
Hmm.
sort of
आई नो,
perception.
नहीं नहीं, मैं तो नाइफ साथ लेके चलती हूँ, मैं तो अपने आप को जबरदस्ती काटती हूँ. मैंने थोड़ा तो सोच के बोलो ना.
Yes, so these things are problem, but like someone suggesting that, like when one of my friends knows that I have diabetes and I eat 2 3 ice creams one day, so he said that what are you doing? You are eating ice creams. बोले आज चलता है, मैंने बोला. So he controls me like तुम्हें कम
Hmm.
खाना है, एक ही खाओ. लाइक ऐसा. तो
Yeah.
कभी कभी वो ठीक है, लेकिन जब वो एक्सेस हो जाता है तो वो अच्छा नहीं होता.
Yeah.
I think yes, yes, yes. Like Deepak said, when we know कि कोई किस मतलब किस intention से हमें बता रहे हो, like there's no problem in me wanting to eat ice creams or cakes, but then I also need to know that I should not overdo it. Moderation is the key. I think when you're living with diabetes, you can eat everything, anything, but portion control is important. I think food is a topic which is little like up and down for me, because growing up I had a very unstable relationship with food, because people were always pushing me कि अरे ये खाओ ये मत खाओ, and then internally मुझे ऐसे लगता कि अरे मुझे जो खाना है वो क्यों नहीं खाने दे रहे हो, and then वो रिबेल करने के चक्कर में आई यूज्ड टू ओवर ईट, कि जब इन्होंने बोला है ये नहीं खाना है तो अब मैं डबल खाऊंगी, so it was like that.
Self-sabotaging, passive-aggressive behavior.
Yes, 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 yes. And then it took me a long time to realize that what I was doing, this is just like self-harming, self-sabotaging, like you said, Aishwarya. And now I'm like very cautious around food, you know, like I am grateful for the food that I get, but also realizing that what I'm feeling around it, it's okay to eat a cake sometimes, you know, but then that doesn't mean कि मेरे पास insulin है तो मैं पूरा 1 किलो का केक खा जाऊँ, you know. It's always like moderation, like eat one slice of it, you know. And I think following that has taken a lot of mental work, you know, कि वो खुद को जो ट्रेनिंग करना पड़ता है कि like don't eat the whole thing, eat a little bit, you will feel satisfied after that. That has been like I have trained myself for that, you know. And even for hypos at times, कि कभी कभी hypo आ जाता है तो you know like there's some small voice in me that can, अभी hypo हो गया कुछ भी खा ले, you know, ले लो फ्रिज में जो भी पड़ा है मिठाई है ले लो, बट देन इट टुक मी लॉन्ग टाइम टू ट्रेन माय माइंड कि नो द राइट वे इज टू ईट शुगर और लाइक ग्लूकोवीटा एंड देन वेट, यू नो. एंड आई ऑल्सो नो कि हर टाइम ये फॉलो नहीं होता है, लाइक 1 2 3 जो स्टेप्स है एवरी टाइम फॉलो नहीं होगा. एंड इट्स ओके, यू नो, लाइक if I'm like especially जब रात को हाइपो होता है when you're waking in your sleep, तभी it's not always proper for me to like follow 1 2 3 steps. That time I always like let go at times, you know, कि सब कुछ खा लिया. And then सुबह उठ के I used to regret कि oh shit, now पूरा पूरा दिन खराब हो गया है. And then the whole day I used to think like क्यों खाया मैंने, I should have been like more cautious, you know. But then also letting myself know that it's okay, you know, like at times it's all right to just you not taking care of yourself, it's okay. Because 70 to 80% of the time I am working on myself, you know, like I am working to not overeat in an hypo or not given to the temptation of overeating. So
Yeah.
Deepak, what are your comments on food? Because I'm very curious about how people think on
Yeah,
food
yeah,
actually.
like most of the days are like as you said, like I eat in moderation only. Like I eat the low glycemic index foods, but
Mhm.
some day I get frustrated and like that day I eat everything. Like I said, like आज सब खा लेता हूँ, कल से नहीं खाऊंगा. लाइक उस दिन मैं आइसक्रीम भी खा लूंगा, समोसा भी खा लूंगा, गुपचुप भी खा लूंगा, लेकिन मतलब वो एट अ मोमेंट वो होता है माइंड सेट से, लेकिन फिर वो बाद में रिग्रेट होता है कि मतलब it is affecting at the end to me only. So
Right.
yes, like that is emotional thing. Like emotions are also related to food, I guess. Like when we feel low, we also uh, tend to eat more. So like at that sort of time, I can not I was not able to resist myself and I eat without moderation. So later when the emotions get normalized, I realize that it was my mistake, and then I again come to routine. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that is the thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, in
Aishwarya.
general we have to like stick with the diet, because like in diabetes, whatever we are doing that is controlling our sugar level, that should we continue for the long time. We should not deviate. Yeah.
Absolutely. Aishwarya, what are your thoughts on food?
I think I've been able to understand food a lot better ever since my diagnosis. And like I always thank God, okay, thank you for giving me diabetes so that I can appreciate food and I appreciate good food. Um, you know, I am sick and tired of hearing the word diet. I get irritated with it क्योंकि जो चीजें हमारे लिए अच्छी हैं वो हमें वैसे भी खानी चाहिए, but when you eat that it becomes a diet. Oh, you're on a diet. No, I'm not on a diet. I'm
That's
just
your
eating
level of
food. I'm just
yeah.
eating food that's going to do some good to my body, you know. So that is one thing that has changed. Um, the relationship that I have with food now is that even if I want to eat a pizza, I will eat it, but I'm not going to put in that emotion of guilt into
Yeah.
it. क्योंकि
Mm.
अगर वो मैंने पिज्जा स्लाइस खा के जो मेरे एक्स्ट्रा 100 पॉइंट्स बढ़ जाएंगे, इफ आई पुट दैट गिल्ट इनटू इट वो 200 300 पॉइंट बढ़ाएगा, you
Agree.
know. So I even like if I'm having this glass of water constantly, I'm putting in the right emotions in it that is going to do good for my body. And trust me, this kind of energy work with your food works. It
Yeah.
works wonders. So I've been able to understand food a lot better. Of course, I cheat. I cheat. And when I'm angry, like Deepak said, emotions, they can really mess you up and you will end up eating more. So I've realized कि अगर मेरी और रोहित की लड़ाई हो गई है, मैं फिर बिना सोचे खा लेती हूँ. So it has worked in my favor in the sense that now Rohit makes sure that he does not fight with me, you know. So it has made our relationship better, you know,
That's
because
a
he
good.
understands कि, yeah, because he understands कि अगर ये मुझसे झगड़ ली है, ये अब कुछ भी खाएगी, फिर इसके levels बढ़ेंगे, फिर सारा गुस्सा मुझ पे ही निकलेगा. So in order to safeguard himself from my wrath, now we make sure we don't fight, or he makes sure that he does not fight with me.
Great.
So my relationship with food is only improved. And because of my relationship with food improving, my relationships per se with people has, they have improved.
Yeah.
Uh, I have friends who are cafe owners, and because they understand कि oh, when she goes out इसको problem होती है because most of the times cafes में healthy खाना नहीं मिलता. So she has curated a healthy section menu, only keeping things, only keeping it in mind कि I have a friend who's going through this. There would be hundreds like her, you know.
Right.
So I should be able to curate food which is healthy, which is something that people will not feel guilty while eating. So thank God for diabetes. I understand food better now, and I have a beautiful relationship with food.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like you said, like uh, you having friends, like the impact that you have created around people, and that further helps other people as well. It's so good. It's a beautiful thing to know, like how you or yourself, जब हम openly इन सब चीजों के बारे में बात करते हैं, and how it shifts the mindset of other people as well. And it won't happen if you don't talk about it. Just आप खुद
Absolutely.
के अंदर ही रखोगे, you are just going through it your own self. It's not going to create any awareness. It's not going to help yourself or others as well.
Correct.
Yeah. Mohit is asking which cafe is that.
This is
People
the
are not.
backyard brew at Warsaw.
Ah, okay, noted. That's great. That's good to know. Yeah. Okay. So, any
Also, like
other thoughts? Yeah.
like in between in our group also, people were sharing the low carb recipes. So
Mhm.
that was also interesting. Like I also tried picking some of the recipes and prepared myself. So the foods were tasty. So like exploring the things, things will also help us to make good food choices.
Yeah, and it has turned me into a fabulous cook. Yeah, I never used to cook earlier, but ever since diabetes has happened, now I want to know what is going inside my system, right?
True.
So now I cook on my own. I do not rely on anybody else cooking for me except Rohit because he understands the situation. So
Yeah.
now I cook, and I'm so proud of it that like Rohit has named me Michelin star chef Aishwarya on his phone. So
Amazing.
it yeah, it's because of diabetes that now I cook, and I with practice I've turned into a better cook.
That's good to know. And
Yeah.
like Deepak said, like a lot of the times I also like search our group for amazing recipes. Because at times you just feel like abhi kya hi bana, like the same thing, you just can get bored. So people out there who, if you want some really good low carb dishes, like just search, use the search option on the group and search for low carb or recipe, and I'm sure you'll get a whole list of amazing, easy to make, like, because I am a lazy person, I wouldn't be wanting to like do this 1 घंटे का सब्जी cutting and then 2 घंटा बैठ के उसको बनाओ and then खाओ. I won't be doing that. So like झटपट बनाओ and like really tasty, really yummy. There are a lot of dishes, recipes on the group as well, so use that option to
Yeah.
search for the amazing recipes out there. And there's also on the Blue Circle Diabetes app, you have a recipe section over there as well. And people have put in beautiful pictures with ingredient list and the whole recipe, so you can do that also. So it's amazing to know that the community support is always there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we have covered most of the things that we wanted to talk about today. If there's anything else you both want to share, this feel free to do so.
Yeah, like,
I sorry,
yeah,
Deepak, you were saying.
yeah. Go ahead, Ashwar. I will
नहीं
go
नहीं
after.
आप शुरू करो.
अच्छा, लाइक मैं बोल रहा था लाइक सबसे पहले डायबिटीज था तो मन में यही क्वेश्चन था व्हाट विल बी द लाइफ एक्सपेक्टेंसी. So we have
Hmm.
seen many members of the group who are
Yeah.
from 1960, 1964. So that that question is handled by this group. Also, what exercise routine should we follow? So like people post about their exercise, like how they manage their diabetes with intermittent fasting and exercises. So that information I also like is helpful for me. And yeah, also like if any emotional support is needed, I ping to the person in our group personally, so they reply. So yeah, like this is a good platform. Yeah,
Yeah,
so what I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would want to just add here that for me, hit and trial method has been working. I have succeeded and I have failed, but uh, and every body is different. So it's not necessary that that particular recipe or that particular food is going to work for me the way it has worked for you. So
Yeah.
it is okay to fail because eventually it will lead to success. It is fine if you're dealing with a hyper for 4 hours in a day, 5 hours in a day. It is okay because then you will be able to understand what is working for you and what is not working for you. Also, on my social media, I try and create awareness about diabetes, about things that have worked for me. एंड उसके लिए भी मुझे बहुत ट्रोल होता है कि तुम डॉक्टर नहीं हो एंड ये है वो है इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग हाउ कैन अ डायबिटिक हैव long fasting hours, are you mad, you're going to kill people by putting out information like this. So understand your body's requirement, your body's demands, and then see where it takes you. uh, there is no fixed formula to handling diabetes, and I'm thankful to communities like Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation, for people like Nupur and Snehal and Rohan who are always there to help me out. So something like diabetes has only made me more. It has turned me into a more empathetic human being, and I only wish that people can see the goodness that this disorder can bring into your life.
Absolutely. I think that was like the perfect cherry on the cake sort of an answer. No pun, no diabetic pun intended. Yeah. But amazing. It's so good to hear everyone's stories. There are a few stories on the comments as well. And everyone out there who's been listening to us, feel free to share your experiences in the comments. And me and Nupur and everyone here will be replying to that. And Nupur says that hated when people say, Tum doctor to nahi ho. Like, of course, we know that we are not doctors. We are just sharing our lived experiences. And people around us are free to try that and see if it works. And like
But can I
Aishwarya
say something? Can I say something? Ever since this, मेरे घर वाले they consider me to be a half a doctor. क्योंकि मैंने इतनी पढ़ाई
absolutely,
की है, इतनी
absolutely,
इतने हिट एंड ट्रायल किए हैं, इतनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग की है इस डिसऑर्डर को लेके, तो मेरे घर वाले तो मुझे आधा डॉक्टर समझते हैं. मेरे जो ससुर जी हैं वो मुझे छोटा डॉक्टर बोलते हैं कि मेरी छोटी डॉक्टर आ गई. तो जिसको ऑफेंस लेना है ले लो, लेकिन
right.
इन माय फैमिली दे कंसिडर मी टू बी हाफ अ डॉक्टर. मैंने एमबीबीएस की डिग्री नहीं पाई है, लेकिन आई एम गोइंग थ्रू इट एवरी डे. लाइक यू
Yeah,
स्टार्टेड दिस कॉन्वर्जेशन दैट every minute we have to be mindful of the fact that we have this disorder.
right.
तो अगर डॉक्टर पढ़ाई करके डॉक्टर बनते हैं, तो आई थिंक जो पेशेंट्स होते हैं, या फिर आई वुडंट लाइक टू कॉल माई सेल्फ अ पेशेंट, बट
Mm.
समबडी हु इज गोइंग थ्रू अ डिसऑर्डर, वो अपने एक्सपीरियंस से डॉक्टर बन जाते
Absolutely, absolutely. True. And like Aishwarya said, I agree that you have to do the hit and trial at times to understand what works for you. Because her khana, her exercise, her medication will not work the same way for everyone. So it's important to try it. If it fails, it's all right. You can again try something else. So don't be disheartened if something that has worked for your other friend and it is not working for you. Always try out different things. Try to understand how your body is adjusting to that. I think that is very, very important. And yes, I think with that, we come to an end of this wonderful, wonderful conversation. Thank you, Aishwarya and Deepak, for joining us on a Sunday evening.
हैं. थैंक यू
And thank
स्नेहल
you.
फॉर हैविंग अस.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
we
you.
had a great, great conversation. And everyone here in the audience who's been commenting, and thank you for joining us. And please follow us on all our social media handles. We are there on all social media platforms: Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, you name it, and we are there. And we share a little behind the scenes and little fun stuff on other social media handles as well. And we'll see you again on next Sunday with yet another amazing Blue Circle workshop. Till then, we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.